What?
Weather technique.
So don't be shy. Enjoy. Order your premium American.
It's one of the more unknown qualifying sessions that we've had in a long time here in Porsche Sprint Challenge North America Caymans, and this is one of the storylines why. Hi, everybody. I'm Jeremy Scott. Joe Peak joining me alongside in the booth. We have a lot of stories here in Cayman, more than normal, but Joe, this is the big one. Can Ian Porter come back from a practice crash to where his crew had to basically almost rebuild the whole right front of the car?
Yeah, that's the first we've seen of him get involved in, I wouldn't say a serious accident, but something more than just a little bit of an incident out on track or a spin or things such as that. Had contact with another car, had to do quite a bit, and he wasn't as quick in practice yesterday, so with him being one of the fastest that we've seen since he showed up, that's definitely going to make or break things here. See whether or not this is kind of a little bit. Conda was looking much quicker in that practice session yesterday. But that's just practice. It's now down to qualifying as we're checking out one of the drivers that obviously is a big story here, and that is Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah, this is the second big storyline. Patrick Dempsey making his return to professional motorsports for the first time in almost a decade. Whether it's sprint or endurance racing, he'll be running both sprint races in North America and the Endurance Challenge alongside another pretty darn good hot shoe in Pat Long. So it's going to be interesting to see that. We saw how quick he's been near the top of the time charts throughout the early part of the session as the green flag waves with Nick Schaefer taking the first one. Also, the car behind him, the 81 of Chris Hutter. He's also been pretty quick as well this weekend. So a lot of great storylines in and around the series. And of course, drivers finding their difficulty, Joe, around this circuit of the Americas, as some have found the wall, some have found the gravel trap. It's been a trying weekend, to say the least.
I have to confess, I would have thought some of the other tracks that we've been to would have seen, more wrecks and cars totaled over the various weekends, because this place is notorious for having a ton of paved runoff that you can see here and pretty wide gravel traps. But we've had, like you said, a number of cars that are out for the weekend already just from testing and practice, unfortunately. Now, real quick, if you're new to the Porsche Sprint Challenge North America Cayman Series, you can see two different colors on your tower. The white numbers, those are your Pro-Am drivers. They are their own class. The yellow numbers, those are your Masters drivers.
Another storyline we're going to watch as well. Two of the West Pro-Am drivers have come over to North America. It's the 7 of Sean Kelashati and the 50 of Eli Kogan. Both Kogan is your points leader in Cayman Pro-Am West with 4 wins. Kelashati, he's second. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do against the North America drivers. As we see Kelashati coming around the hairpin. Look at that drop off there, Joe, as you're coming off the hairpin as well.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that surprised me is actually getting out on the track. This is the first time I've gotten to set foot here at COTA, and the hairpin out of turn 11 down the back straight. There's a much bigger drop than you realize from the camera views or from if you've raced it in sims like I have. So no wonder it's tough to get the throttle down out of there, and we might see a few drivers spin the tires up a bit.
Wow, 2:15.6 out of Conda, the young French driver making her mark early on. Now Nick Schaefer best that time. So we're going to see these drivers add to their times as they come down across the line. And there's the time we expect out of Porter, a 15.2. 15.2 out of Ian Porter. about 500ths of a second separating that front row.
Nick Schaefer's been looking good as well this weekend. Now, he's been quick in weekends past and has rocked up some pretty good results, but maybe it's time for him to try and take a victory here. As Conda, also, we've been kind of talking off air about how we expect she's pretty hungry for a victory. She's been close at times, but has always seemed to be around when there's a faster driver, despite her speed being impressive.
And she's really coming out of this rear-wheel drive platform a lot quicker than a lot of us have assumed, but that's no surprise. Look at how well she did overseas in that Peugeot. She finished third, so she's a quick study.
Yeah, she comes from a touring car background, so front-wheel drive cars, jumping over here to rear-wheel drive. There's always going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but, I mean, that was a short curve. She basically was on it from the first weekend. And if anything, I'd say the only thing that she doesn't seem to feel confident about is her English, which frankly is very good itself. But Caroline is definitely one to keep an eye on because she is rising up the ranks.
And you and I have had plenty of chances to talk to her over the past several North America weekends. She is, we got one in the wall. We have the 7 in the wall. That's Sean Kelashati. So we're talking about, how these curves are just coming out and biting drivers as we see the cars move their way. Yeah, there's Kelashati right there, driver's left, as we're watching cars around the circuit right now.
Yeah, so that's between 9 and 10, which is another rise, another blind corner, which is not good with him thankfully being offline. But you're getting on the power through there and trying to keep the rear of the car from spinning around because you come over this crest. And you're also cutting very far to the inside. And if you clip that apex curve, that yellow curve you'll see, it can certainly throw the car off.
By the way, I forgot to mention the track temperature. Ambient is 81 degrees. Track surface is 94 degrees. On board with Patrick Dempsey. He is currently 5th fastest in the Masters class with a 220.1. Looks like he is on yet another flyer as Nick Schaefer bests his previous time with a 14.992. Wow.
And he needed that one because Porter put in a 2:15.0, so it is all of 16 thousandths of a second between them, whereas it's still 6/10 of a second down to Caroline, but I'm not sure when the last time she crossed the line was, so she might be finding speed now as well.
Let's take a look at 9th fastest, 3rd in the Masters, Bill Pelichowski. He'll be teamed up with Andrew Davis in the Enduro tomorrow afternoon. Looks like that he's doing quite well after the woes that he had at Barber.
Yeah, exactly. He kind of needs a good bounce back here as we watch Paige Morales, who we had a chance to speak to yesterday. She feels like she's getting better and better with every weekend. She came in with very little racing experience, so this is kind of dipping her toes into the unknown. And right now she sits in 15th, it looks like. That's going to actually put her 8th in the Pro-Am class.
And Paige, we've talked to her, and she's really confident this weekend because she's gotten a lot of track time here at Circuit of the Americas. This is basically Rafa Racing's home base. I don't know if you follow them on social media, but looks like the 7th Sean Kelashati is off course. Driver's right just off for turn 12. So we'll see if we end up having to go retrieve him. But back to my point about Paige, she's getting a lot of track time here, and I think that is going to help her. And indeed, we are going red flag to retrieve the 7 of Kelashati. His best time of 2:20.2, but yeah, there he is, right there in that red.
Yeah, so the cars are going to be flying past there at a high rate of knots. So even though he is off to the side, something could still happen that could be very, very bad right there. So no wonder they're going to red flag it. Now I'm guessing that maybe there was some damage from that hit with the wall between 9 and 10. And then was able to kind of limp the car over to here, and maybe someone got on the radio, told him, you got to stop the car, we can't bring it home.
Yeah, we when we were on board with Patrick Dempsey just recently, we did see that Kelashati was running real slow down that back straightaway, so better just to pull off than to take it the extra mile or so back to the pits with a lot of turns that you have left. Nick Schaefer, your fastest so far, and with number 70 out of JTR Motorsports Engineering to 14.992. Ian Porter, look at the time difference. It's under actually just a little bit over a tenth of a second between Schaefer and Porter. Honda third, Rafa fourth. So a good showing from him with a 16.9, and Lonnie Unser rounds out your top 5.
Yeah, I'm actually showing about 16 thousandths between Schaefer and Porter here. It is very close for pole. And we know that Porter is a fierce competitor. He's one of those guys that hates to lose. So I'm pretty sure that if we get the green flag back out and they could do some more laps, he is just going to be blitzing this place.
I think they're going to, because we'll probably have 1, maybe 2 flyers left, as the safety crew has said, it looks like it, we're going to need the tilt bed for that, so it's just going to be a little bit longer. And, of course, thankfully, the good news is with the cutout that we have there that was actually used for supercars not too long ago, they could probably just hook them up, get them on the tilt bed and just move them around. We'll see how that works out. But this might be actually, now that I think about it, now that they have the tilt bed, like I get the tilt bed out, it might be a lengthy red flag that might end the session.
Yeah, so they're going to have Kelashadi hop out of the car here now that it's safe, and or maybe he's still convinced that he could drive it home or something, because they're having an extended conversation, although we didn't see what happened to him, and it didn't look like it was that bad of an accident that he should have been injured by that, but we'll see.
There's the rollback as we see cars on pit road being held just with the red flag. Let's take a look at our fastest in Masters. Jeff Myshak is quickest with a 17.2. Then it's Bill Fennick. I actually ran into Bill Fennick on my little restroom break and between sessions, and couldn't find his car. I was a little freaked out about that. So a little bit of, dude, where's my car?
I was going to say, how do you lose a race car?
Well, when you have the crew just drive your car to the grid, you kind of lose sense on where your car is.
Yeah, that's true. Now, I expect that the times that we're seeing on that tower might be a little bit mixed up, because I'm looking down, and the number of laps for almost every driver, barring a couple, has been 2 laps. That's not usually enough time to get something representative, especially for these drivers where, we don't have too many qualifying specialists that can just get it one and done at their absolute maximum. So I think we'll see some changes here.
Okay, so we saw the hook, the crane come to possibly put the 7 car on the rollback, but now the crews have decided to use the rollback for what it's meant for, to roll the car back onto that platform, and we'll get that out of the way here shortly. But with 11 and change left in the session, I think we're maybe going to have time for 1 flyer. And while you were talking, I did see Kelashadi walk to his car and kind of take a look at that right rear. So we'll check on that here in just a little bit. We'll have Skip Barber on course here momentarily after this session is up.
Yeah, unfortunately, we haven't seen replay of what exactly happened, but, just putting the pieces together, if he's looking at the right rear, I'm going to guess that the car got loose on the exit of 9, whipped around. We saw him facing the wrong way, so that corner probably kind of smacked the Armco and most likely damaged the suspension or something that it just can't carry on.
And that is actually pretty easy to do in that corner, or he may have gotten bitten by the exit curbing too, because that's a little rough coming off of turn number 9.
Exactly. Like I said, there's a rise there, so if the car is out of sorts and it's unbalanced, it could spin on its own even if you didn't hit that apex curb. But not what we wanted to see. Another car, unfortunately, unable to drive under its own power back to pit lane. Let's cross our fingers that we haven't lost another already this weekend.
Yeah, and the COTA safety crew top-notch this weekend, trying to get that car off the track so we can get back to qualifying. I think we're going to have enough time for some qualifying. We'll see if anybody can touch Nick Schaefer's time of 14.992. Myshak, your fastest in Masters. Of course, Masters competitors, let's see here. Your top 5 are separated by 0.3 of a second. I'm sorry. Your top 6 are separated by a half a second.
Ooh.
Oh,
nice.
Also, if you look on the tower, the number 8 RS1, that is Tom Kopczynski. He's got a great showing as well this weekend, as he'll be taking part as well. I believe he's taking part in the Enduro.
I think you might be right. I'll have to double check on our entry list here in a bit. But
okay, good. So we're taking a look here. Yeah, it looks like that tire is just the bumper, the tire. So, yeah, there's no way he was going to be able to continue all the way to the pits.
No, there's some significant damage there on that right rear. So at least that truck should be able to, I believe, get it back to pit lane here. He won't have to wait for the session to finish. And this also means, since they had that opening there for the short version of the circuit, we should hopefully get a green flag for the session out. And like you said, that was a good call. It's looking like about 2 to 3 laps the drivers will be able to do.
So we'll get one warm-up lap and, maybe 2 hot laps. We'll see what happens when race control decides to release the cars. Of course, got to do a quick track inspection, make sure everything's A-okay, especially in turn number 9 as we're watching the number 7 come back into the garage on the rollback. There it is. Green flag is out. Now cars will be on course as we do see Conda leaving the Conga line. And that's Hutter.
Does that make it the Conda line?
Yeah, that's called the Conda line.
It was right there for you. I can't believe
it was. Well, I set it up so you could tee it off, okay?
There we go.
That's the kind of announcer I am.
I mean, I'm not shocked that everybody is immediately trying to get out. I mean, if they only get 4 laps to try and qualify, that really puts some pressure on a number of these drivers to perform. So this could be a lot of fun if we see what this final order winds up being, as you see Lonnie Unser fly down the hill out of 1 into the S's.
Yeah, Lonnie looking to improve this weekend. She's got several 4th place finishes. Actually, she's got 2 P3s as well this season, since 3rd in points. With 162, she's 67 back from Ian Porter, has 2 wins and 2 runner-up finishes. There's only 2 runner-up finishes came at Barber. And, of course, we all know what happened there. If you're watching us with IndyCars, the great Chloe Chambers came in and basically said, I'm going to take both of these wins and go 4 in a row here.
Yeah, it was definitely impressive watching Chloe come in, but she's not here this weekend. She was kind of a one-off there before, so now the drivers are back to competing with most of the regulars. Like we said, we've got a few of the USA West drivers trying to get more track time and doing a guest appearance here for the North America Series in their Cayman class, especially because in the USA West it's all one series. So the Caymans have their own class, but they're racing with the 992s. This is going to be a different dynamic for them, only with cars who are the same category.
Only driver not yet to take times is Roland Crines. We'll see when he gets back out there if he sets a time as Lonnie Unser coming through the stadium section. And of course, we have some new technology we're debuting this weekend as well with the GPX. And had a chance to talk with them. We'll have their interview throughout the weekend, but it was also great for yours truly to see some old friends this weekend. As I told you, it feels like a Green Dam reunion for me.
Yeah. It seems like motorsports is a small world, and you always run into familiar faces time and again. And as we're watching Lonnie come into turn 20, into Andretti as they've dubbed it now, she is going to start her first flyer, and we can hear them now whizzing past our commentary booth up towards the climb at turn 1. When they tell you that it is a steep climb, nothing really does it justice.
Yeah, first when I got on property, ooh, Lonnie with a little bit of a wiggle there going through turn 1. Let's see how that affects her lap. She'll probably have 2 flyers, maybe 3, depending on how quick she gets around the circuit. But one of the first things I did is I walked out to pit road and I looked to my left and I saw the uphill. And yeah, the TV picture does not do it justice on how high that climb is. There's a 98 of Patrick Dempsey as everybody coming around to complete yet another flyer.
Yeah, you didn't do the track walk, though. I climbed up that thing.
Yeah, you were braver than I. If you've seen video, you see why I didn't do the track walk.
It's, I'm somewhat out of shape compared to my younger days, but I thought, okay, I can handle that hill. I got to the top, and I was like, nope, once is enough. I'm not climbing that thing again.
I'll let's see what Dempsey can do. His fastest time is a 17.6. He's 11th quickest overall, 5th in the Masters class. Again, this is his return to racing as he's using that beautiful Mobil 1 livery that we saw the Porsche GT1s use in the late 90s.
Yeah, I mean, just classic and iconic looking livery as we watch his onboard here, just glancing in his mirror to make sure nobody's coming up behind you. Obviously, you can get compromised if someone's pulling a draft and maybe tries to sneak inside you into the corner, but he's on his own, so he's going to try and see if he can make this a hot one here. We'll see whether or not Dempsey gets himself a good time as he brings that machine through the stadium section right now. And currently sitting 5th in the Masters category, 11th overall. Let's see if he can crack into that top 10 overall.
Well, he's got Jim Johnson. It looks like a Pro-Am ahead. I'm trying to see which Pro-Am that is, as they are nose to tail coming around the carousel. It looks like
I think he's Masters, actually, Jim Johnson.
Yeah, but there's also Pro-Am ahead of him.
Oh, okay.
So that's 3 on the left number, at least on our Follow the Dots portion of the program. As coming down, Pelichowski goes second quickest in the Masters with a 17.1.
Oh, it's good to see William have a good lap there. Dempsey's going to cross the line. Let's see if he improves this time, and it looks like he did not, unfortunately. That last one at 2:18 flat.
Well, coming out of turn 20, it looks like he had a little bit of a wiggle there, so we'll see if he can improve on that as just a little bit over 3 minutes left to go. So Schaefer, Porter, Honda, your top 3.
So Patrick now into the S's section, and you're seeing them cut a lot of these apexes. That is normal. Those apex curbs, yes, they bounce the cars around a lot, and you don't want to clobber them in some spots. But the big thing that I noticed is we're now over a decade old here at COTA, and those pyramids are no longer as sharp and as tall as they once were. So that's why they're able to go over them, is because they've literally been ground down.
Yeah, it's with all the series that were on here. We had NASCAR here a couple of months ago. MotoGP was here recently as well. Even a couple of one-make series, the Tour of North America, were here. So, yeah, with all the track action that this area's been getting lately, I'm not surprised to see that those have been crowned down. Schaefer on a flyer right now is his last time by. Was basically the red flag time of 11 and a half minutes.
Okay, so he's getting out a little bit later compared to everybody. Interesting with how close it is with Ian that he's leaving that to chance, or maybe he's not as concerned about track position here because he knows he's got a good lap down. But if I was him, I'd want to try and extend that gap over Porter a little bit. We haven't seen Conda improve either. She's still the same 0.6 of a second back. In fact, she just crossed, and it was not an improvement.
I was going to say, I want to correct myself because, yeah, both your front row standing on their times. Chris Hutter across the line, 17.2 is his best time. So that was his best time last time by. Good enough for 6th in the Pro-Am class.
Still got more qualifying coming up today. Next session going to be the GT3 Cup class that's going to be racing here for the North America Series. And then we get off to the first of our races for the weekend, which is going to be fun to see now that they can truly get out there and try to go toe-to-toe. Caroline going wide. Yes, that is her. So I wonder if this is a cool-down lap. Oh, no, it can't be because she doesn't have enough time to get back around.
No, she doesn't. So, yeah, just under a minute left. Going to be interesting to see who does what here in the next couple of minutes. 45 seconds left. The crew coming around the carousel, I think those will be the ones that see the checker flag here in just a little bit. We see Hutter, we see the 17 of Michael Clark. Talk about somebody who is taking full advantage of growing this season. He comes with 2 wins this past race at Barber. He's only a handful of points back in the Masters class.
Yeah, Clark is, I believe, one of those that is trying his best to jump up in the order on this one because I think he wants a little bit better position. I think he's in second because he had a bad finish at the first round at Sebring. So he's been chasing ever since on Myjak. We'll see if Clark can get some better qualifying in because he's a long ways away from Myjak as it stands now.
As Myjak, your fastest right now in the Masters Class 16.7. Checker flag is out for this session. Let's see who comes across the line to better their time. As your first cars could be the 81 and the 17. As they're coming around turn number 19 for the final time for this session. Neither driver pulling off. They both are coming around that final turn at number 20. And Clark's going to dip out to the inside. Look at that third fastest, 16.987 out of the number 17. Here comes Lonnie Unser, and she's going to use all the track coming off the start-finish line. Not going to improve her position. Here comes Pelichewski. He's dipped down to fourth with that battle here for the grid, and he is not going to better his time either.
Rizzo's going to be the next one to cross, but doesn't look like that is going to send him up the order, as that's only a 2:19, so not quicker for him, and neither for McCaig, another of our drivers that had problems earlier this weekend, but thankfully is able to get a car out there and qualifying.
Looks like one of the Rafa cars coming down the front stretch. And that's going to be the 87 of Morales. She still sits 9th in the Pro-Am class.
Indeed. So as the 94 crosses the line, Trollinger waiting for that timing loop to update here, and looks like that was a 2:19.8, so that's not going to be quicker for him.
Wow,
either.
Tillman Schmid knocks into the top 10 with a 17.1. So good to see that. He'll be 6th fastest in the Pro-Am.
Fennick going to be across the line, 2:19 flat. Not going to see him climb up any farther, unfortunately.
And that is our last car to see the checker.
There you go. That is our order for this one. Schaefer taking the pole by the smallest of margins over Ian Porter. That is going to be a fun battle to watch in the race, with Caroline Conda still sitting in third, unable to improve on her second lap. Actually, it was her first lap, which was her quickest of the entire session. Lonnie Unser, 4th overall, with Myjak taking that pole position in the Masters class. Rafa Martinez, what a run from him. 6th overall, 5th in the Pro-Am class. I think that is a very respectable showing for him.
It really is, and this is probably the weekend where he really needs it, with a lot of guests here for Rafa Racing. Take a look at the Masters top 3. Jeff Myjak with a 16.7. Elaine Scalzo, he had the top spot for the most part, but able to run a 16.9. And Michael Clark, looking to see if he can improve in the point standings this weekend, 16.9. Joe, we're going to take a quick break, but we should be back here shortly with GT3 qualifying.
Make products at WeatherTech.com.